Hi Carl, thank you for joining us on the first ever episode of the Fashion Dialogue. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do for those who don't know.
Firstly, pleasure to be here. I'm glad to be the
Lovely
first
to have
episode.
you here.
Thank you. Carl Thompson. I have a couple of businesses. So one being men's shirts, so very formal shirts. The other in unisex jewellery. And I have a blog, YouTube, Instagram. I'm on all the social media platforms, TikTok even. I mainly focus my time on Instagram, I would say.
So let's take it back to the beginning.
Long time ago.
Yeah. So where did you grow up and where did your love of fashion start?
Yeah, so I was born in East London, Whitechapel. My family then moved to Kent and I grew up in Kent. And then I live in Clapham. And my love of fashion really just came from having a 9-to-5 job in an office. I used to work in IT, so a complete different change from IT to fashion and blogging, completely. But I remember those days and it gave me a platform to wear formal wear. You know, I was in the office all the time for 12 years and that was very much my style. I love tailoring, double-breasted blazers, pin collar shirts, like 1920s feel to it. Think Great Gatsby, think Boardwalk Empire, all these kind of movies and TV series. My style was very much like jeans and t-shirt, but where I personally excelled was in the formal wear. And I loved experimenting in the office. I loved wearing these pin collar shirts, 1920s shirts and that sort of stuff. And that's really where my love of fashion came from.
So what was that light bulb moment where you thought, I can do this full time? Because in 2013 you started up your blog and your brand Hawkins & Shepherd. So where did that begin and when did you think, I can leave my job and I'm going to do this?
The light bulb moment really for me came from just working so hard in the corporate environment. That meant kind of like I was doing all the Cisco networking, I was coding, and it took up a lot of time. I remember sometimes working sort of 48-hour shifts non-stop, flying all over the world. There's one office I set up in India, I think it was, in between the border of Pakistan and India, and it was this metals warehouse, and we had this office there, and I worked so hard, and it was a 48-hour shift, and I loved it. I'm not denying that. I love pressure, I love grafting, and that's very much me. And I that time of my life was great. But at some point, you have to think, do I want to do this industry? Do I want to do IT? Do I want to work this hard, these many hours for the rest of my life? And actually, I was single back then, and I didn't have a family or anything like that. So you have to look at the future. And I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I want a better lifestyle balance. And really that was a light bulb moment. It was the point where I wanted a different lifestyle. And I still love my job. And today, I look back and I'm like, oh, I love them times. I do, I really do. I have so many fond memories of working in an office. But I just wanted a change. And really it was that kind of drove everything. And I started Hawkins & Shepherd. I was like, okay, let's change this lifestyle, let's change the 9-to-5, let's do something for me, and that is where the business was born.
And when did the blog come into play? Like, where did the blog come first, or did Hawkins & Shepherd?
Yeah, so Hawkins & Shepherd came first, and then the blog was born really just to promote my business organically, because I didn't really have like a massive marketing budget. So I was like, how can I promote my business organically? And at the time, I was dating a fashion blogger, so she really opened my eyes to the industry. I didn't really have a clue what a blog was back then, to be honest. But I was taking her photos and I was reading her blog, and I was like, well, what guys out there are doing this? And there wasn't that many, especially for someone similar to myself who didn't necessarily, had a bit of a style sense, but kind of didn't want to dress too extravagant, just like everyday dressing. And there wasn't too many people out there doing that. And the blog was born really just to promote my own shirts at the time. I remember my first post, my first photo, it was awful. I remember the first photo shoot. It was for, I think it was Wear It Pink Day, which was this charity day for breast cancer. obviously amazing. But so I kind of wore this like pink shirt, pink tie, pink pocket square, pink socks, and I just look back at it now and I'm just like, okay, I make these mistakes so you don't have to. And I'll always go back to that. If I get it wrong on the blog or my styling, I'll always go back and say, well, I can make mistakes. My followers don't make mistakes. But that's where it was born, and kind of like I started wearing my shirts and styling with suits and writing about them, and it kind of helped my business because I was gaining a following on social media, so therefore the traction from social media, I saw that on the business side as well. That's why my Instagram account for 4 years was called Hawkins and Shepherd, because it was a business Instagram account. It wasn't about myself. It wasn't. My Instagram now is Carl Thompson, which is more about me and about what I wear. It wasn't back then. It was all about the business. It was about pushing traffic from social media to the website. It was only really after spending a lot of money and a lot of time buying outfits and doing it for free, because I loved it, and I loved learning myself about putting together outfits and styling and everything, and I enjoyed it. And that's where the blog kind of grew, and that's where Instagram started to grow, and that's when brands started to come on board for that side. So that's probably about a year after launching the social media side of things and the blog. It didn't really become, it became something else. It wasn't really what it was starting to be. So it wasn't promoting Hawkins and Shepherd anymore. It was its own entity, and it became its own business. And I really enjoy that to this day now.
So you talk about your blog being a men's encyclopedia of lifestyle. So when did the lifestyle and the grooming aspects evolve?
It completely natural progression, really. It started off with fashion. If I'm honest, it probably come from where the money was, because that certainly drove Instagram and my blog to what it is today. And the brands really do drive influencer content in a lot of ways, not always, because you want to put out that content that is natural to you and is that your followers like and that sort of stuff. But there's only so much I can give in that space, whereas grooming is something that I'm good at. I look after myself, I look after my skincare routine, and my life is just something that I wanted to incorporate in my content, and I think it becomes more natural and more engaging to people when you showcase your life and you rather than just products.
Yeah. So for the last year we have been faced with the pandemic. How has that affected your brand and your day-to-day life as an influencer and blogger?
Yeah, okay, so let's start with Hawkins and Shepherd. Yes, the pandemic's hurt, I'm not gonna lie. I think in general, shirt manufacturers really struggle because it is an industry where I would say it's a shrinking industry. It's an industry where formal wear is probably being replaced with smart formal, athleisure, casual, and the pandemic has just sped up that process, is what I think. More people obviously wearing casual clothing. So dressing up and formal wear and shirts is probably my biggest customer was the office and weddings, and the pandemic pretty much took away both of those things. But on the good side of being an e-tailer, you've got a global audience. So yes, on one hand it has decreased quite a bit, but on the other hand there could be a boom on the other side of this. There could be all the weddings that were meant to happen are now going to happen in 1 year, and we're going to see all of that income come back. But it also allowed me to reevaluate the businesses, which is another plus point. Yes, the sales might not have been there, but for me, I kind of looked at it and I was like, where do I want to take this business in the future? And actually, it's one that I'm going to personally lean my business down to what it was when I first started. But it has been quite nice because I've stripped it back and I've just done what I've wanted to do for a long time. When you're busy, you become in this bubble where you're just promoting, ad. And actually, the pandemic has given me a chance to maybe just step back from that and being a bit more like, okay, Carl, what do you like posting? What do you want to post? Okay, I like posting pictures of my dog, so I'm going to post pictures of my dog, and it's really given me more of an identity on Instagram, I feel. And keeping up with content is fine. I feel that I've done more indoor stuff. I haven't really wanted it to be out there traveling. I know there has been negative press with some people going traveling during the pandemic and stuff like that. I haven't wanted to. I've wanted to stay at home. I've wanted to show my house more and home tours and Charlie and my life and my girlfriend and everything that is me. And it's about fitness and about home fitness, about drinking coffee 3 times in the morning. It's about working from home, doing the businesses. And I've really wanted to push that side of things and show the real me and show a personality to my Instagram, rather than I'm in London and I'm posting a photo that's an ad. It's given opportunities where they haven't necessarily been.
Yeah. And as an individual, how do you feel that you've changed? Has your confidence grown? What changes have you noticed in yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I've always been confident-ish, but certainly more confident. I think fashion and wearing stuff that you feel really confident in just breathes confidence, and it just, 100%. I feel so much better in myself. I feel that I can wear clothes now and just feel confident in what I'm wearing. I think a lot of guys these days, they struggle with that. And a lot of the time, you look good, you dress well. Just go with it, feel confident, and it's just maybe that reassurance that guys need, and that's kind of what I offer. But for me personally, I'm loving the confidence that this industry gives. I'm loving being, having YouTube and being on camera and doing things like this. This is why I started doing the blog and Instagram, and it's amazing. It really does give confidence, and it doesn't just stop at what you wear. It can be confidence in your life, in your dating life, interacting with friends and family, and you just become like a happy, better person, I feel.
And when you started the blog, were there a lot of male influencers at the time? Would you say you were one of the first to make it, I guess?
Yeah, the blog certainly and Instagram was very female saturated at the time. There wasn't that many guys doing it. There was, but it was very much about fashion week stuff. So guys would post about runways and fashion week, really high fashion and trending fashion. Whereas that wasn't where my skills lied. That wasn't where I wanted to be. I wanted to be the blog for everybody out there, every guy out there, every guy out there that struggles to know how to dress, every guy out there that struggles to put just colour palettes together, simple colour palettes. I wanted to be that resource for all guys, not just a small section of guys that get invited to fashion shows.
Yeah. So we spoke about how the pandemic has affected your brand Hawkins & Shepherd, but you actually did start your own jewellery company at the start of last year. So tell us a little bit more about that. How's that going?
Love that. As soon as you asked it, I was like, yes. So my hands just went like this automatically. That was a shameless plug of showing my jewellery. Basically, it launched about a year ago. But obviously, it took about a year to get, maybe even 2 years to get to that point. So it wasn't necessarily like I launched necessarily in a pandemic. It was just it just happened. And I learned so many lessons with Hawkins & Shepherd, and with DeAndrea's, it was all about starting small, and it was keep the costs down as small as possible, especially the operating costs. So costs that come out every month, so your website, etc. So everything was done on a budget. And the good thing about jewellery is I can stock it at home. I've just got literally a trunk with jewellery, and so I'm paying no storage fees or anything. So that's what made it okay to launch during a pandemic, because it wasn't something that was going to take lots of money on a month-to-month basis. And it's gone well so far. The best bit about it is that it gives 10% back to mental health charities, which was something that I really wanted to do. So it's more of my personality into the brand, and all of the pieces have a positive message of mental health. So whether it's the one that I'm wearing, it's a start from scratch ring, and the ring itself has kind of like a scratch in it, and whether or not you take that as sort of a heartbeat or a linear journey in your life, there's a reason why you would wear this ring, and that's what I really wanted to put across. And actually, pandemic probably helped that, because people have stories to tell, people have struggles, and that's what this brand is all about.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Where do you see your blog, and where do you see your brands going?
You know, I want to see Hawkins and Shepherd succeed. You know, I still don't think it's got there. You know, you're very critical when you're a business owner, and I really want to see it get to a point where I pay myself. There we go. I can pay myself from a business. And actually, you know what? That's one thing I would say to people if starting a business. You know, pay yourself from the start, because the longer it goes, the longer you won't pay yourself. You know, so yeah, that would be a great goal. But no, to be honest, just continue to enjoy what I'm doing, help other people, and just promote the business as much as possible.
And is that kind of a bit of advice that you would give to someone? Because like you said, if you'd asked yourself 5 years ago where you'd be now, you might not be, you might not be where you want to be, but not to give up.
Yeah, I mean, totally. It's very much like, I mean, definitely do not give up on your dream. There is a future in the fashion industry and in this industry in general. Like, there is, and you can make good money from it. You know, you just be consistent and be yourself, and think about who you want as your audience, and go for it. It really is that simple. Just give away from the thoughts of self-doubt. You know, forget about the self-doubt and being in front of camera and all those sort of things. It's a good industry, it's a great industry, and there is a future in it. And remember that you own your brand, you are yourself, you own the product. Yeah. Take what you want from other people and take advice, but it's not all gonna work for you. Yeah. So you can have your own opinions, of course.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us on our first episode. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me, it's been a pleasure.